I just hope whoever it had saved it.
Don't get yourself too like worked up about it.
I don't think he knew it was.
But it's essentially, yeah. This is the second time I've done Abbey Road. This time it was 2 days in Studio 2. Does anyone know like much about Abbey Road in general, about the studios that they have there? I mean, there's. Yeah, they do. In fact, there's an interesting thing about that. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, there's 3 main studios. There's Studio 1, which is the big orchestra hall where all the Star Wars stuff is recorded, and it still gets used. Studio 2 was the Beatles. Studio 3 was the studio that Pink Floyd and a bunch of others did.
Can you say 3 again real quick?
3.
Very good.
Studio 1, Studio 2, Studio 3. So we had Studio 2 for 2 days. We had Pepper Coyote there, we had Rhubarb, we had Dolphin Boy, who's also like, here he's from Texas. He was like the most stereotypical Texan. He actually wore his hat, like his 10-gallon hat, in the drum.
He asked for ketchup on everything.
Yeah, he did. yeah. He was showing us pictures of his guns and everything. Right. Wonderful. So,
what instrument did he play?
He plays drums.
Oh, I was getting figures.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
If you'd broken out like violin, I would have been like, really?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been surprising. And we managed to somehow fit a 40-piece choir in that studio as well. It was amazing. It was actually a community choir, so they weren't like a London symphony choir or anything like that, but they were good enough in their own right. They do like concerts and stuff. But a lot of them, that was their first time in Studio 2 as well, so like a lot of them were like shitting themselves. They were terrified. And it didn't help when like Simon Rhodes, who's the sound engineer, he's like this Hollywood sound engineer who like mixed Avatar, he mixed the Beijing Olympics, he mixed like all the new James Bond films. So like every time he talked, like the room just went because they just listened to him. I don't know if he did or not, but apparently he made like one of the people in the choir cry because he actually noticed that one person out of 40 being out of tune, and he like found them and he pointed at them in his nicest way possible. It's like, I'm very sorry about this, but one of the altos was slightly out. Why? Because it's like, do you know who it was exactly? Well, I don't want to point, but it's the girl with the black hair.
Oh my god!
It's like, but it's okay, we can do it again. We can auto-tune. I was like, no. He said, do it right. So she did. So it was quite an experience for them as well. That's one thing.
Please take it.
Sorry. There's like, oh, paws in my back, then all of a sudden, claws in the center of my spine.
Oh, it's like the sweet spot.
Yes, that's a sweet spot.
Yep. So they had like separate booths for like the vocals. We had a separate booth for drums, which is great because no one likes playing next to drums because vibration.
No, like soft, string instruments right next to the drums.
Nope. In fact, it's great because those like doors are so thick that when you close them, you can't hear a thing. When you open it, it's like. It's really, really fun. And that was actually new booths that they just built there. Joe Bisbee, or the drummer, he was actually the first ever drummer to play in that new booth that they had.
Oh, wow.
So I think he's probably going to end up on Wikipedia just for that. Like that whole thing. Because there's actually, if you go on Wikipedia, they have like their own sections for like just who's actually been in that room. That's really sad. really sad. Pepper helped organize a lot of the vocals. Like he actually helped with a lot of the harmonies. We had like a separate room set up with the mics. 2 of the mics were used on the Hard Day's Night album. We actually had like John Lennon's side still on
Did you lick it?
No, Pepper did. Yeah, it's like no one ever wants to touch that again. No, it's disgusting. But John Lennon's saliva is like fine. It's like take that anytime.
It's like fine wine that ages with time.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, and that's the thing as well. Because we were doing the harmonies all at once, it took them a while to figure out just how to organize the mics because the female singer, Lily, she's like 5'1", and Pepper's like 20. So Simon was trying to figure out like where you could position the mic so like her could like get like an equal spread and actually get the same amount of power of the voice into it. So he had like this really cool like sort of mic tree like, going on. Like
At Pepper's middle, that's the perfect height.
Basically, yeah. And you have to duck every time you went into the
in there.
Really? It's done, yeah. But yeah, we basically did harmonies in like 3 different mics at once, and it was a lot more efficient than combining because last time we actually did like each vocals going separately, and that took a lot of time. This time around, it felt a lot easier with the fact that they could get all the vocals done at once rather than individually. So yeah, we did the crossing. We had a couple of guests there. They had their fursuits with them. I don't think there's ever been fursuit pictures of inside the studio. There's been fursuit pictures of the crossing, because you're allowed to do that. But I think we were the first ever people to actually suit inside the studio.
I was going to ask, did you actually get to suit inside?
Yeah.
I'm Guinness record.
Yeah.
Like fursuits.
There needs to be pictures of this inside the album artwork.
Yeah, and Simon's reaction, the sound engineer, like he actually walked in when they were doing one of the shoots, like in Studio 2 in the hall, and was like, "Oh bloody hell!" The most typical London accent you can get, and then like the rest of the sound engineers like start kind of looking out. And when we did the first photo, like actually right on the steps where you see like Abbey Road Studios, like all the staff inside the studio were looking out the window going, "Oh my god, what's going on?" Security allowed this, and there's like, yeah, exactly.
Why do they draw so much attention?
It's heartless, I mean, it really is. But I think the thing with Abbey Road is like security is ultra tight. Like they gave us all these lanyards. In fact, this is the one I'm actually wearing just now. They actually give us this.
Oh wow!
What you do is you go in there, you sign in, say who you're here to see, and you basically name the sound engineer that you're working with. So it's like, I'm here to see Simon Rhodes. We've got 2 days session in Studio 2. Is that right? Sign in, time, date of birth, passport number, passport, and then you go for like the metal detector thing that we have, because people can like easily just run in there and steal stuff. I think like that actual detector is more for like people trying to like
Keep equipment inside.
Coming out, not going in.
Because there are literally mics in there that you can put on eBay and they would sell for like millions because they've been used just by the people. Like it's crazy. Like the Mrs. Mills piano, which I actually used on the Happy song, because like a shit song needs a shit piano. And I've actually still got a blister for it as well. This really awesome
Did it pinch you?
I mean, if someone actually managed to like get that out of there, like I think even like Paul and Ringo won that piano, they would actually buy it. But Abbey Road is saying like, no, you've got everything else, you're not getting that. Like we want something at least like associated with that album. So the Mrs. Mills piano it's got its home in Studio 2. It's been used on like Lady Madonna. It's been used on like I think it's got its own Wikipedia page. Like.
Mrs. Mills piano.
Abbey Mills
It's
piano.
actually done. Yeah. It was a nice piano actually, except when I did the slide. There's literally, it's so old, there's literally like splinters like sticking out from where the ivory used to be. Like there's no ivory anymore, it's just like splintered wood. It's really kind of like, it's like, yeah. But, so, any questions or comments or, I really don't know what else to talk about.
Can you take me with you next time you go back?
Yeah,
As a sound engineer myself, I would be in awe.
What was, tell us one thing unexpected that happened that was really cool, and then tell us an unexpected thing that was difficult to overcome. Like one good thing, one bad thing.
Okay, I'll start with the bad thing first. The bad thing was the choir. Not because the choir was bad, but because like something in the organizational part of it went wrong, and that was the sheet music. And this, and I'll say it now, I'm not shit talking him or anything, but it was Pepper's fault.
Before he gets here, I can tell.
He's not here till later. This is the time to shit talk.
I will tell him on stage as well. I'll tell him in front of everyone. I'll do it. I'll tell him like every freaking day. Basically, the sheet music was like put in the entirely wrong key.
Oh, it was missing. It was keyed wrong.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And not only that, it was in 2 keys. So one part of the choir got 1 key, one part of the choir got another key. The bass has got 1 key, and then the altos and the sopranos have a different one. So when they started singing, I mean, I could tell they were like confused about it because we were in the canteen first of all, and I could hear them talking about this isn't right.
What's it gonna sound like?
That doesn't make sense. That's awfully distant. I don't know. We're just going there. We're getting paid for this. So, so when they went there and did it, oh my god.
How long did they go before you just said stop? Did you do the entire?
It was I think it was like 15 seconds, and then Simon just like pressed the red button, and just like they saw the red light go off, and they just stopped singing. It's like, yeah, that's not right, was it? And then Pepper was like trying to like sneak out.
Yeah, he knows exactly what was wrong as soon as they heard it. It's like, oh.
It was basically the Keepers of the Light song that we actually recorded there. But again, when you're dealing with like such talented musicians like Pepper, you can like just sit there with it, and we just literally like rescored the whole thing. We just marked where the keys were. The choir had a look at it. Simon helped out a little bit as well. Put them in there, and they did it within like 30, 40 minutes.
Wow.
We basically did like most of it in sections because like some of them required doubling. And basically, what you do is you can like record like a choir singing like one part, and then have them do it again. So it basically doubles the size of the choir. So you have like 40 piece to 8 piece, 80 piece. You can do that with the orchestra as well. Actually, when we went to Prague, the orchestra was 70 pieces in total. We had maybe 22 violins and like 10 violas and 9 cellos or something. We basically doubled that. Like some of the tracks, like the middle section of Bitter Lake, we doubled the violins. And it's like, holy shit, it's like a freaking million musicians just playing the same thing at once. It just sounds incredible.
So do they just play it twice and you overlay it, or do you get the same track and then?
No, they actually play it twice, because then you get like phasing issues.
Otherwise, it sounds like
yeah. Although if you're like
you don't want echo, you want
it to actually sound like they played it again, because then it actually sounds like there's double the amount of musicians in there. And I was actually surprised how often they actually do that in the industry now. Like you can get like a 30-piece orchestra make it sound like a 90-piece if you have like time in the studio to do so. It's actually pretty incredible. It's really cool.
They do that in the video game industry a lot. Because for recording video games, they don't have the same budget for sound and music like they do for theaters. But some of these video games, you'll hear the music score, and it sounds like it's straight out like Star Wars, like something from John Williams. And you find out, oh, it was just like 40 guys that did it. You're like, wow.
And actually, the first time I went to Abbey Road, when I did Come Find Me, the second day we were there in Studio One, they were recording that last Call of Duty soundtrack.
I know they do it there.
They had like only 48 people in the orchestra, but it sounded like a symphony orchestra after they like did all their magic with it. It's really cool.
That's where I think the London Philharmonic actually did their own version of a bunch of video games.
That's correct.
They came out on a CD like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep. And Studio One has such a unique reverb, like a unique ambience in that room that you don't get that sound anywhere else in the world when you're recording an orchestra. It's famous for that. That's why like Hollywood and Disney always try and like do their stuff there, because it has that sound. Like some of I think the best example of actually listening to the reverb itself where there's no effect whatsoever, the second Lord of the Rings film where they get sent in that hopeless battle and one of the hobbits sings that Home is Behind.
Yes, so home is.
I just listened to that 2 days ago. It's creepy.
Yep. If you listen to that, that's no effect. That's actually the reverb you hear in Studio One. And when we did it the first time, Coulson, who was one of the singers on the album, he actually sung that there, and everyone had goosebumps. It was really spine-tinglingly beautiful. Like it's got all these weird kind of like panels. You know how you get like sound panels, but these ones like meticulously cut. Like some parts of the roof are like taken off. Like it looks ugly almost when you go in there, but when you hear it, it's just like this is exactly what it's designed to do.
So they hand tuned it when they were building.
Exactly, and they don't touch it. Like whenever an orchestra or a choir in there, they always have the exact same setup, so it doesn't interfere with the sound. Nothing gets moved out of there. They always keep like certain instruments in there. They don't move them. It's just always like that.
They dust them once a week.
Pretty much, yeah. And the piano gets tuned like every day as well. Like
because the dust can attenuate reverberation.
Yeah. And the other thing was what was a nice thing that happened?
Yeah, that was a bad thing. Was
but it was.
But what was something surprising, cool that turned out a lot better than expected, or you know?
It wasn't directly related to the recording session, but the mixing session. I was literally in Abbey Road like 2 days ago mixing it with Simon Rhodes, and Simon was like, this was actually Lighthouse we were listening to, this new version that we got there with the choir, with Pepper's track, and Simon was like, this is really good. And Giles Martin, or Giles Martin, he's the son of George Martin, who was the original like sound engineer for the Beatles and everything. He was actually in the studio that day, and Simon like just phoned him and said, come up here and listen to this. So this legendary freaking sound engineer, I mean Simon's a legend in his own right, but when he came in, it made him cry. Like seriously, like this sound engineer that's heard like all this music in his career, and he listened to Lighthouse with Pepper's vocal to the piano and the choir, he was like, wow, this is really beautiful. It's like, I want a copy of this one when it's done. So who knows where that could lead? I mean, it might end up like
Did you tell Pepper yet?
I haven't told him yet. I don't want to.
Let it be a surprise.
He's gonna cry when you tell him. I know he is.
I will.
He's gonna be like, oh.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing. So keep it secret.
Okay.
This is something I really want to do. Like as soon as he gets
Tell
there.
everyone.
We'll
be right back.
It's already done.
tweeting it.
It's on Twitter.
Send the Kellerati after him.
Just the color.
The killer.
Get the good ones like promotions. They needed candles or something.
Green candles.
We just have a
They actually glow green. Kale wax.
kale fix, green flame.
Hide a little bit of copper in the wick and it'll actually have a green flame.
That would
As
work
the candle
actually.
burns.
This thing's green.
That's true. That's true.
We could all be walking around carrying those.
Any more questions?
I got one. What is like? I know it's kind of weird, but it's like, what is the main difference from, making your songs, digitally to like actually having them played out by an orchestra and sung by a choir? Like, what is the main like? Different trains of
there is no comparison. I mean, it's interesting you say that because, like, nowadays with modern sound libraries, you can get it pretty close. I mean, it sounds like an orchestra, but when you're there in the hall listening to it, you realize just how far behind technology still is.
It's the organic versus digital. It's the analog versus digital.
Yep.
There's something about it you can actually feel.
Yeah, and the orchestra still has completely that human aspect of it. Like, even the mistakes they make, like one or two of them will make mistakes, they won't play it right, but it kind of blends in with the orchestra and it gives it that sort of live
It makes it unique because it'll never be recreated.
Oh yeah, at that particular place, you can play the same piece with the same musicians and talent at a different location, and it won't sound the same.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's definitely still a massive step up from like anything that digital can give you, at least right now. I mean, I know they're starting to like get more advanced with their patches, like you get like round robin settings that has like several different articulations of it and such, but it's still, I mean, you get the ambience of the room like all around you, and you can actually hear that in like the modern mixes as well. I mean, when we recorded Prague Philly, they actually had surround mics set up as well, so we've actually got the optional surround mix to use too, which I'm actually looking into at the moment. I might do that as like part of the digital download or something, because there's literally like no space.
You might actually release a surround mix. Oh my god.
Yeah, at least for the orchestra tracks.
I'm all over that one.
Yeah. Basically, what we're doing with this as well, because like all of the orchestra tracks actually have vocals on them. On the end of the album, once the main album is played, I'm actually going to have like all 5 of the orchestra tracks there, just as the orchestra as well, without vocals. Because I know like a lot of people appreciate just like orchestral music that's just instrumental.
Acoustic.
Yeah, exactly. But
Or what do you call it when it doesn't have any lyrics in it?
Instrumental.
it's instrumental.
Which is what he said.
Yeah.
Yes, the instrumental.
Yeah.
For instruments.
Yeah. But to answer your question, yeah, like live orchestra is way better. Yeah. And
Got kind of a two-part question. Kind of on the first question. How much do you have to do with like the engineering side of that? Kind of stick away from that and just let him do his job.
I had probably about 50% input from the whole thing.
And then a quick question on that, like, what do you really like using on the piano? Because I've like done some like PCM mics on a piano, and then like 414 like holes on the sides. But
Okay, I mean, we basically did the classic mic setup. We had like player close and room ambient. I think there was another one that he had set up as well. I think there was like 5 mics in total that he was using for it. But when he came,
He doesn't have that budget.
Oh no! I mean, these mics that they had were ridiculous.
Those mics are basically custom made for the
U87, 247 is like all of them. Like, and then that's the scary thing. They literally have like just a tray bucket with all these mics. Like, just dip your hand in. It's like I'm touching millions of pounds right here. Just like, I mean, there's a back door as well that they actually use to load in. So I'm actually wondering if it's easy just to pick up. Just like
I need this box.
You're gonna Ocean's 11 response of mics.
You know, you just took the
You know what, it
connector
probably
off.
does have something like that. Or like John Lennon's ghost comes in. He actually comes out and like,
It's like a
Creature in the mind.
okay.
I'm gonna put this one
The
back.
curse of John Lennon.
Yeah, we mucked about with the mics a lot for the piano. Like when we actually started mixing it, we were doing like a lot of stuff with the close mics more than the actual surround mics because the orchestra kind of like handled the background stuff anyway. So having like a close mic piano with the vibrant orchestra actually sounded really, really nice.
Did you guys do string or like at the same time? You like
Not the piano, no. The piano was in Studio 2, the Prague Philly was in Prague because like when I was talking to the Prague orchestra, you actually want to come over. It's like, oh, Studio 2 might not be big enough. You have to talk about budgeting for actually getting them all there. And that being said, the Prague Philly actually preferred to record in their own hall anyway because it has that sound. And actually, it has the same kind of reverb length roughly of Studio 1. I think Studio 1 is maybe like 2.5 seconds more or something like that. So it's reasonably close. Yeah.
I didn't realize the reverb was that long.
Yeah, well, I think Studio 1's reverb is like 5 seconds. It's pretty ridiculous. But that's the weird thing about it, though. You don't notice it when you're listening. You'd think it'd sound muddy, but that's how perfect that room is. Like, it can have like a long reverb, and it doesn't get muddled.
And it's really good for those strong orchestra hits, like at the
Oh, yeah.
end, or right before it fades off. You know, you bring something up really quick.
Yep, exactly. And during the mixing session itself, like, I had some input. I was saying, I want to try this, I want to try that.
well, yeah, that's what made me ask because you ran into the mixing session. So.
And it's funny because like I've got so many things I want to do in the mix. So I was like, can you be patient? Like, it's like I'm telling him like I want like a different distortion effect on the guitar. And he's like, I'm still on the bloody piano. Well, you can say and he's actually doing things. I'm actually taking notes. He's thinking, but the thing is, like, for the other half, I just let him do his thing because, like, when it comes to signing his stuff, his like soundtrack stuff, he's the perfect thing. That's why I get him every time, and he gives me discounts as well. I don't know why. Like, maybe because like no one else, he's not doing anything else, or he just likes the music. I like to think he likes the music. But yeah, like 50% input. It was. I actually had more input on the piano, I think, than anything else. I kind of let Simon just deal with the orchestra because he knows like what I like. I like high EQs and the horns. I like big lush sounding strings. I like good bass on like bass drums and the taikos and timbs and stuff.
When you're recording, do you use a like an acoustic piano or do you use a digital piano?
It was an acoustic piano, and for Studio 2, it was a Yamaha CFX grand piano. They retail at 110,000. Yeah. But that's nothing. The Steinway D in Studio 1 is worth 2.5.
Jeez. And the home version?
Actually, there's I think Garreton actually released a sample library of it. I think it was Garreton. But
I don't follow piano.
Yeah,
sorry.
We don't have emotional pianos.
yeah, I think it was a limited edition, like designed by Steinway for Abbey Road. So you can imagine, like, just regular Steinways cost you a fortune. You can imagine how much that one must cost there. It's like a unique one. So, yeah. But yeah, all acoustic.
I don't know, a lot of our high school has, but we have a large grand piano. It was Steinway. It was about 185
Yep.
for a high school. They said that basically was 3 years of their budget for their music
Oh.
that they saved for that. But oh my gosh, when any musicians came, I used to be at the Performing Arts Center, one of their head sound techs there, and whenever any of the performing musicians would come, either orchestral pieces or whatever, they were almost speechless at a high school having a piano.
It's pretty.
Taking such care of their music department with the equipment they'd use.
Absolutely, with a Steinway. My gosh.
Literally, the piano is only uncovered when it's actual showtime. When they practice and rehearse, the piano is never uncovered. They will practice and rehearse with the cover completely on it.
I think.
And
like,
literally, it's actually, people are filling into the house for the show with the curtain down, and just before the curtain's up, like not even a minute, the cover comes up.
wow.
They
Like our school like had an upright piano. We had a couple of upright pianos. It had screws sticking out of it. And someone actually had to go to hospital because they were playing it and the lid fell on their fingers and it broke 2 of their fingers. And thankfully that wasn't me.
like the Looney Tunes, they hit the wrong key. You ain't gonna get a bomb.
That's what it was like. They were mucking about with it.
That sounds more like my school.
Slam.
Sounds like my school's music programs.
Yep. That was our budget.
Keys and the brass instruments, the drums that have obvious patches over where someone busted right through.
Like duct tape and the shit.
Yeah. See, I'm not the
Only
only
the
one.
timpanis in my.
Yep.
Oh, the timpanis literally literally had dings in them where it looked like someone had thrown them downstairs. They didn't even tune anymore.
Oh my god.
Dang, my school had a bass drum where somebody literally ran their head through it by accident.
Accidents?
No, that was the
then just scotch
picture
tape it
showed
back
it was
up
an
and keep
accident
playing
because he had
on the
the
other
blood and
side.
everything. It's great.
When we were recording the Prague Philly, they had like this entire percussion section, and there was loads of timpanis. There was a bass drum that was freaking massive. And the best thing was this like 60-inch gong that they had. I've not written any gong for like, any of my pieces, but I want to play it anyway, so I went and played it.
Can that
I
be
can
in our
still
budget
feel the
for
vibrations
IFC?
on my hands.
He's got to weigh like 200 pounds.
Yeah, it was really freaking heavy. I was like, can I play it? It's like, well,
Does,
kind
can
of
we
over
rent
time.
that for
But
IFC? It's gong.
For the gong show.
Yeah, we'll have a gong show. We just going to start hitting a gong.
Probably
Probably
Blue
one
Man.
hour.
No, not Blue Man. The Japanese guys that play the big drums.
the
Taikos.
Taikos.
Yeah. There's Taikos on the Dreamcatcher, the new album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually managed to sneak some in. There's Taikos, there's a drum kit, and we actually had a cat. You know, there's like box things that you sit on and you hit them.
Oh, yeah.
Beatbox.
Yeah. That.
I've done a recording with one of those.
That's
at our-
called
at
a
our church
beatbox? I
before.
thought beatbox was...
Well, I think there's multiple names for it, but I think the
Yeah.
name is like Cajun, Cajun or something. It's a weird name.
That's what I've heard it as.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
It's a
always,
box.
since we couldn't pronounce it, we just call it a beatbox. It's just the warmth you can get out of one of those things.
It's like you might as well just sit on a washing
It's a bongo.
They
like a
sound
sit-down-
awesome.
it's like a
Every different part of that box you get, it makes a different noise.
Yeah, you get
There is
amazing
no
sense
two
of-
areas that are the same.
I do like some of those hand drums where you can get a different sound. So like boom, boom, boom. It's
Oh, like-
one drum, and it's just
Yeah.
wherever you hit it and how fast you hit it.
Yeah. Like you can get like the two like tongue drums and stuff as well that make those really nice, like neckly kind of sounds. Any more questions?
Any plans to go back?
Oh yeah.
Easy question. Next.
Plans or dreams?
Plans, yeah. The thing is, like, with like the most recent fundraiser, I'm always having to like use just a little bit of my own funds to like inject into it as well, because I always want like just a little bit more stuff to make it more epic. Like the choir, like I very much just pay for it out of pocket. Because it was like
Disney comes up and asks you to work with George Lucas to compose one of the new Star Wars or something.
why? Because John Williams is like, how do I do it?
It's Star Wars.
You know, he sort of was like that with the what was the
Rogue
last
One.
one that came out. Yeah, he did
Yeah,
want to do.
it was
Rogue
Giacchino
One.
that I think did that, and it was weird. I don't know how I felt about that soundtrack.
So you know, the same feeling I got where it sounded like it. I forget
I
what I
think
said.
the-
It went high and then went off, and later on in the movie, the music got better. But
Yeah, I think the problem was like he was trying to fill John Williams' role, and that is like
yes, that's the
Yeah, it's
problem.
not gonna happen.
When
It's
it
like-
when it wasn't John Williams, when it was Rogue One music, when you were like, yes, this is action, this is war, this is good. But then when they like tried to play the heroic themes and stuff like that, I was like.
it's like
Like, it's like you're trying to make Star Wars, and I forget what else he said, but
Yeah.
it was like two movie themes that shouldn't have mixed.
yeah, totally
It
hear
didn't
it.
have the finesse.
But yeah, I do have plans to go back.
That's
I
honestly
need to
the
save a
only
little bit of
that
money
would be-
for it.
is
Is
the
do another
soundtrack.
fundraiser, obviously. But then once I've got the Dreamcatcher done, which is nearly done now, I'm going to be focusing on the next Foxes and Peppers album. And we're actually looking at national.
Yeah, well,
Going to Blackbird Studios or Ocean Place Studios.
Nice.
So we're not really doing like a country album as such. But they have like a lot of talented musicians in the area that we can kind of like invite them, including like some like local furries as well. And we want to try and get one involved in the album.
that's where
You're gonna grab
And
Barb
it's,
again.
it's considerably cheaper than Abbey Road as well.
For the Grand Ole Opry.
It's in Kentucky, right? No, it's in
Well,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
You're going to do the recording on a porch.
Yeah, exactly. On a porch with like a bucket.
Oh, let me get the washboard.
That's basically how I saw Pepper the first time. That's how I met him. It was like, I think it was FA United or just before that. And he was like playing on a stairwell.
Oh,
And I had-
where he was just sitting there.
Yeah, yeah. And
Very,
I had like a concert at FA United, and I thought, oh, come on, perform with me because Colson can't make this one. So, okay. And
Yeah.
See you later, mate.
Safe. Ever since then, it's just been like, whoa, it's kind of worked. So here we are.
Like-
Doing
I
like
like-
20 cons a year now.
I like how you described it. It's exactly how he is. He's just like, okay, no prep, no slot. He does stuff. And
Yeah.
you're like, how?
He's a
Don't
good-
you have to prepare? Do you
He's a
have a
good
plan?
boy.
How do you do
He's
that
a
stuff?
good boy.
Good boy.
He does what he's told to do.
Does.
Sometimes.
Any more questions?
I have one last question if no one else does. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
That's easy. A horse-sized duck, because that would be the coolest thing to try and ride.
It's also would have a beak that's like the size of your arm. It's just like
One
hit, you'd be
handheld
done.
cranes.
On me, maybe, but if I can train it to do that to someone I don't like, then
So your goal isn't to kill it; it is to tame it.
it's to tame it and then use it for my own nefarious evil
But if you
purposes.
tamed 100 duck-sized
making
horses,
really big
imagine the havoc you could wreak.
That would just be like a plague.
And you would just need, and you would just need 100 baby carrots. 'Cause they're tame horses.
A horse-sized duck. Ride it just like out of the joust.
One regular sized carrot can
I
eat
don't,
20 of them.
not like there's a
Actually,
drop
riding
down
was
that big
flying.
technically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
It'd be a
it's a
horse-headed
horse
duck,
duck.
so it would fly really fast. It'd be the most amazing thing.
It's
Like,
not
go
both
to-
of them together.
It's
No,
just a
yes,
really
it is.
large duck.
Like, bear with me. A really large.
Bear with you?
Just a really large
It's
duck.
going to act like
For real?
I thought it was like a duck combined with a horse.
You know it would
It's
just
a duck
totally
that's
lose
as
it though.
big.
Someone
It's like a
you'd
horduck.
be flying there, and some guy down in the bushes would be doing a duck call, and it would just
Extra calling
ditch
ball.
you. You have a higher chance of getting shot by a shotgun after taming it.
Going by like a dog.
Or a dog would go. Or
No, the
then
dog
you
will
get a
have-
horse-sized dog.
A horse-sized dog.
So speaking of ducks and stuff, then would you ever in the future have a song with a duck call in it?
Oh no.
The only song I could
Don't
probably
let
do
that
that on
be
is
a
a happy song.
You have to like,
And it's
you have
still
to name it like
delicious, so
Bob's
technically
birthday or
I
something.
Right at the
Bob's
end of the
birthday
movement
song.
where it's like
I'll work on something that you can fit that into.
Excellent.
Just put some effect on it, like
Exactly.
a duck call with distortion.
Right.
Studio One reverb.
Yeah, it's
Wait, but duck sounds don't echo.
Well, this one would.
It may not echo, but it can reverb.
reverb.
Yeah,
You can make it reverb.
We'll just do it.
Throw a delay on it.
Dubstep.
Actually, I don't think Mythbusters
It'll be a
can prove
dubstep
that
drop.
duck's
It'll
quack
be
doesn't echo
out
because
of
it couldn't get
nowhere,
the
and then
quack.
all of a sudden it'll be like little miniature duck call bursts, like you know, but it's all duck calls.
See how
A machine quick.
Have you ever seen the video?
That was great. I mean,
One
I
duck
think we're pretty much
full of
done
those
anyway.
ducks, and they just start making the noise.
Does anyone have any more questions, or can I go to the bar now?
No, I said that was the last question. It's bar time.
It's bar time. Okay. Go bar.
Jason, one
Thank you,
question. What is your drink of
Tonight
choice?
at 11 o'clock, he's got a concert in Main Events.
Yeah,
You should be there.
Oh shit, is that right?
Yeah, it's you and me and some other people.
Okay.